Testing. Just make this slightly bigger. I'm just debating with myself whether it's worth. Wait. Whomever. I'm changing the way the right to left stuff works a little bit. The software used to do it in a slightly silly way. It used to sort of try and infer the direction of the element from, in cases where it's not specified, from the direction of the attributes on it. And I don't think that's a good way of doing things. So we've added flags. I've added flags to give the user more control. They can specify whether the element's left or right to left, left to right or right to left. So the old system is pointless. It's literally pointless. If you just go in and upgrade and... Oh yes. I usually only play music if I'm like in the mood for it. And I'm not always in the mood for it. Sometimes I just feel like quiet or just focusing. I don't mind either way right now. Well, I'm trying to reduce the number of copyright violations that I get on my YouTube videos. I get a lot of copyright strikes. This is the music. Although they're not harmful copyright strikes. They're just, I can't monetize my channel, but I can't monetize my channel anyway because YouTube has shadow banned me and put me in the shadow ban dustbin. And anyway, my channel's too small. They've now introduced new rules. You have to be like 1,000 subscribers on YouTube to monetize, or something like that, and 4,000 viewing hours. I think I have 4,000 viewing hours on at least the Swanage channel, but 1,000 subs. I don't have 1,000 subs. It's quite a bit. I really don't like all the changes they're making to YouTube. If Element, because the AI speech algorithms are going to detect that I just criticized them and put another strike against my channel. Their speech recognition is going to be parsing what I'm saying, and the AI is going to detect that I said something negative about YouTube, and they're going to downrank me even more. Anyway. I've forgotten what I was saying. I just went on a rambling rant there. Right to left. I had quite a few viewers in the last stream, which was actually quite a high viewer count, at least on Twitch. I should actually, yeah, actually, that reminds me. So the old way of doing things, new functionality, old functionality. This old way of doing things is gross, but think I must just forget the old way of doing things. Get rid of it. Users must upgrade, and if they upgrade, they must select the right settings in the DTD editor. I'm a bit worried there's going to be a user out there somewhere who's been using it, the old version, for years, editing a dictionary. And it's working. Suddenly it's not going to work anymore for them, and they're just going to be like, give up on the software or something. Maybe the software can have a message. We can detect that case when the user loads the document. It's a bit of work though. We can detect that case. Elements that are not flagged as right to left, where all the attributes are right to left. We can detect that case and give them a warning when the document loads. That's not a bad way of doing it. That's actually a nice way of doing it. I think that's how it should happen. Let's save this as desktop right to left legacy case. So the legacy case is something like let's say you make all of these attributes right to left. Okay. Then it assumes that the element is right to left. So test since example A C. Yeah, A B C. Oh, but that actually doesn't work. So what's going on? A B C. Isn't it the legacy case? It's right to left. Let me just check. I don't even know anymore. It's right to left. Yeah. But why isn't the legacy case even working? That's odd. Attention viewers. Okay, right. I want to it's right to left. This legacy case is not working. That's really strange. I'll open. It should say A, B, C. Got it like that. This whole organization. It's the I'm meeting with several of them, basically. Something is going on because the space is wrong. If I go, what if I make this like huh? Yeah, that's it. Olive. Let Gimel. Then it works. That's really odd. That's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to. So if we literally use a right to left, look, if I clone this entry, lemma duplicate article, but then we use ABC, that's not right. Customize DTD, example, right to left. That right to left is supposed to force it right to left, even if it's got A, B, C in it. Either the browser's trying to be clever. Let's see what Internet Explorer does. Also wrong. Well, it does the same thing. The Hebrew is right, and the English is wrong. I can't tell if this is good or bad. In a way, it's good, in the sense that it's not right. It's not going to work. I mean, it doesn't make sense what I've done, but that's not the point. The point is, why is it doing that? Example. Right to left, right to left, right to left. Let me see what happens if we export to Word. Yeah, it's the same in Word. What's that weird block doing there? Aleph Bet Gimel is right, and ABC is wrong. I mean, it's right, that's how ABC is supposed to look. But it's wrong in the sense that I've put a right to left override in there. And here's why it's wrong. Because, oh wait, span door equals right to left, span. So the whole lemma has a left to right there. Okay, try something. Right to left test. Basically what we're trying to do is something like this. Test span there equals left to right. ABC. I mean right to left. Right, that's Firefox from the Explorer, Edge. Every browser is handling it the same. Right, sorry for that video. It's a bidirectional override. Video very sorry. Why is that being ignored? That bidirectional override. .html. HTML there. Let's take that out. What modules? That's a bit complex. This C++ generates HTML, and the same C++ classes also generate the RTF exports. Not the same exact same classes, the same. Yeah, it's a bit involved to explain this. The exporter is split into a part that I just need to concentrate on this for a second. Isn't the whole point of the bidirectional override that it's supposed to force the direction to be right to left? So why is it rendering left to right? Does it place this stuff now? I feel like an idiot. Okay. DDO. C++, there's no such thing as, there isn't really such a thing as packaging in C++. I mean, basically, shared libraries are about the only level of packaging, but I mean, that's, C++ is more like, it's a little bit primitive-ish in that regard. This takes me right to left. Really, because it's not working. Try it yourself. I mean, like in like for example, I mean, we have our main application, and then we have a bunch of core stuff that's in this dictionary library. You know, within that, we have various headers, header files, and CPP files for various sort of submodules, like the exporters and the servers, client server stuff, character database, font helpers, various other things. And then we have a few other libraries like, well, that's basically the old WX ODBC that's spun off, and then we have a library, WX that's used for the word automation stuff. Video derivatives are oh, let's actually go right to that. Why is that working, but this isn't? But if I put the span inside, I really don't see what's different. Maybe it must be lowercase. I'm missing something. Why is that above? That. You'll see different people do that. You see different conventions, not conventions, but slightly different ways. There's no one way of doing it. Like, these are the third-party libraries we use, and like, you know, you see very different. Like WX is so complex that the you know, the question almost is that doesn't necessarily make sense. You know, some people have these ad hoc systems, but like the boost library is different also because of it's mostly template stuff, so a lot of it is just implemented in the headers, which is a bit gross, a bit ugly, but that's template programming. But like the curl, for example, yeah, has a include subfolder and then a curl subfolder underneath that, so you that's quite common. And you have a source folder, but I mean, yeah, the header files are sitting in the source folder for HDF. So some people have a separate include, some people just put it together with the source, some people have include source, like this sort of thing, include lib. It really depends on the library source. I mean, they have Lua, that's just if you're planning on if you're planning on releasing as like a library, like that people can include, where you don't include the source code, but you are going to include the headers, then it can be neater to have the includes in a separate folder. It's easier, it can simplify things to have the source and the includes, the .h files and the CPP files in different folders, because you're planning on releasing maybe only the includes, but not the .header, the includes, I mean the .h files, but not necessarily the .cpp files. So we're not releasing anything, so it doesn't really matter. Basically, I tend to just have, and what I also do sometimes is, it also depends exactly on what I'm working on. If I have a really big, if there's a really big class, then we'll have one .h, and then in the same folder multiple CPP files for different. For this is huge section.h, and then there's different section implementation files, just to keep it neat and clean. So it's really a bit ad hoc, but for the most part it's just one H and its corresponding CPP, usually in the same folder. That's usually odd, unless unless I'm planning on releasing something as a library or oh, there we go. ABCDE, ABC. So as soon as you add a spanner, even though you're saying right to left, it no longer works. Look at that. Huh? This stuff is really a pain. Look at that. I mean, that's boom. One is running right to left, and the other is running left to right. They both got a bidirectional override saying right to left, and this one has a span tag specifically saying right to left, and yet it renders left to right. The paragraph itself is aligned right to left. But does that mean any span? Like, let me just put an empty span there. ABCD. No, so an empty span doesn't mess around. That's weird, huh? Span equals left to right. ABCD. As long as you put the dir span there is so basically span there seems to be pointless. This is what we want. I want this ABC to be the other way around. I suppose we might want to add options that let the browser just sort of intelligently figure it out, but I don't think, I think it's going to be a mess. Not a mess, but you're going to get why doesn't this work? That's another question. So that is working, that is not. But look at this messed up selection. The way it's selecting is telling me something is happening. Let me see. There it goes, that's left test. Of course, this is, while it's technically wrong, it's not going to be a problem for the users by and large. Because the users who've specified the attributes are right to left are going to be putting right to left text in there, like Hebrew text or Arabic text. So this is really a case of somebody putting the wrong thing in the field, and the question is what should happen. But this happens, like you might have mixed text. Like let's say you have an example like his name is spelled David in English, right? If you translate that sentence to like a right to left language, you're gonna have some right to left stuff, and then a left to right part, and then more right to left stuff. You don't want to end up with this in the middle of the blah 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 right to left stuff. Like that. So maybe we do want to leave it like it is. Oh, but that's what are we doing? I need to think about this a little more before I go forcing the whole thing to be right to left. Okay. That's correct. That's how it should look. Let's put that in a bidirectional override force. Video. See, that is not wrong. That's what we don't want. And if I add the spanner, it's not right. Okay, so there is a difference. I expect that that is probably going to be the same as... So if that whole thing is forced left to right, oops, the entire thing is wrong. Well, except for the David, obviously, but everything else is completely wrong. And if we add a span here, it's the same. And what if we have BDO, bidirectional override, right to left, but the spanner is left to right? These last two render the same. Why are those ones at the top on the right hand side there? Paragraph there. Melissa!